Boosted their playoff chances with a win away at Bradford. Midfielder Michael Keane volleyed in the game's only goal 2 minutes after half-time.
Extend their fine run to only one defeat in 9 games despite playing their third match in 5 days. North End's goal in the 32nd minute was really worthy of being a winner as Graham Alexander set his sights from 30 yards and pulled the trigger to ruthless effect. The defenders managed 6 goals so far this season but will never strike a ball better, as Watford's keeper Alec Chamberlain will testify. While Preston have endured a hectic schedule of late, their opponents were anything but lily-white following their break in Spain and drew level thanks to Wayne Brown's vision and Gifton Noel Williams' determination. North End almost grabbed the win 2 minutes later, but Chamberlain was equal to Michael Keane's header. The single point means David Moyes' side climb a place to 9th in the table.
Yes, good game, and everybody will remember one of the best strikes I've seen for a long, long time.
Preston sort of roll up their sleeves.
Yeah.
Manchester City fans are a rare breed, but how do you deal with it?
I think the fact there's been about half a dozen.
This is the sort of result that gets you going again.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
They're going to be there, aren't they?
Yeah. 1 or 2 blips recently, but...
John, what about Preston?
John Macken, as his double bought Preston a hard-earned 3 points against Rotherham. His first came from a Rob Edwards corner on 45 minutes, and Rotherham looked to be posing little threat. That was up until the 66th minute when they shocked the home faithful with an equaliser. A fine finish from Alan Lee. North End's winner came just 2 minutes later when Dixon Atuhu managed to slip the ball through to Cresswell, who made no mistake in scoring his second to keep all 3 points at Deepdale.
I'm pleased with the result. Every game from now to end this season is very important, and pleased to get the victory.
Again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
West Bromwich Albion, Sheffield United rather. So in the First Division, where Preston and Crewe drew 2-2 at Deepdale last night, the result leaves North End 4 points off the playoffs and Alex 3 points above the relegation zone. Preston couldn't have wished for a much more emphatic start to yesterday's match, as within seconds they were ahead. Paul McKenna on the score sheet before Crewe had even touched the ball. But credit the visitors, who reacted well to that early blow and were level soon after. Kenny Lunch restoring parity from a Ben Ricks cross. North End, in their first home match since the appointment of Callum O'Hanlon as their new manager, soon regained the initiative. Ian Anderson provided Richard Cresswell with the opportunity to edge them ahead once more. They held that lead until the final 15 minutes when Crewe once again found an equaliser. Rob Hull ensuring a point, which certainly suits the visitors more than it does North.
Callum O'Hanlon, assistant to David Moyes one day, the new manager of Preston the next. Despite an impressive list of possibles for the hot seat, North End opted, for this season at least, to promote from within.
It was very unsettling for the players. We'd lost John Macken a couple of weeks ago, then you lose your manager within the space of a week. And I think if anybody else had come in, it would have been total carnage. But I think they've kept the continuity going, and I think it was good for the players. I think that's what they needed. They needed settling down. But we've got a good bunch of players here who can go on and force their way into the playoffs.
And a top 6 finish would go some way to securing O'Hanlon the job beyond this season, and that's something he desperately wants to happen.
I think anybody would like it. I mean, Preston, the tradition, the standing of this club in the community and the football world, I think anybody would be a fool not to want this job. And I think there's about 5,000 people do want this, the way I see everybody's name linked with it. But I've got it at the moment, and I'll do the best that I possibly can.
With only a point from his 2 games in charge, O'Hanlon took North End to Edgeley Park yesterday to take on a Stockport side which had stunned Manchester City in midweek, but was still reeling from the reality of relegation a week ago. A career blow to another young manager in Carlton Palmer, though he insists he has no regrets.
In this job, the biggest thing is you can either do it for 2 reasons. You either do it because you want to do it, or you do it because you want the glory. Well, the glory comes for me if you do the right things. Now, if I'd have done the wrong thing, which would have been to bring 4 or 5 players into the football club and try to stay up, I would have just killed the club financially. So I can live with the fact of getting relegated, although it hurts me because the club can go forward. But I couldn't have lived with the fact that I would have had relegation, and also the fact that...
Under floodlights. Common sense, though, prevailed yesterday as Palmer resisted the temptation to switch them on during the day. He might change his mind before the club's next home fixture, as there was to be no repeat of Tuesday night's heroics. North End made all the early running, and they could have been ahead on more than one occasion were it not for the outstanding Andy Dibble. The 36-year-old former Manchester City keeper at his acrobatic best, twice denying Richard Cresswell in the first half. Preston, though, grabbed the goal their pressure deserved just before the break. Graham Alexander's corner volleyed home by Paul McKenna. Little Dibble could do about this one, the midfielder's second goal of the week. Player-manager Palmer again ran his socks off for County, but was solely responsible for the visitors' second on 51 minutes, getting himself into all kinds of trouble before surrendering possession to Cresswell, who calmly slotted home goal number 13 of the campaign. A replay Palmer won't want to see again, as Cresswell put daylight between the two sides, and after 4 straight away defeats, North End were looking good for the victory. County displayed plenty of fight in a bid to snatch at least a consolation. 18-year-old striker Mark Byrne denied by the woodwork. But it was a first win for Preston since the departure of David Moyes. O'Hanlon off the mark.
We've got a tremendous set of players here who have been well drilled. They know their jobs. They're organised, and I thought they